Are there other foods that you eat that are kind of like, oh man, what the hell is that? Is there, how far have you gone into what maybe used to be taboo for you, but now is like on your dinner table every night and having great results?
Yeah, no, there's so many cool foods that so many people that we forget about. So bone marrow is one of the most incredible foods. As far as like flavor, taste, texture, cold bone marrow, especially from the lower leg, is just amazing. So people can get, marrow bones and ossobuco steaks where you got the marrow in the center. I just love that stuff. So creamy. It almost tastes like butter. Really, really big fan of marrow. Brain is another really good food, very high in fat. It's actually one of the highest cholesterol foods out there. And let's see what else. Liver. I mean, just eating nose to tail, every single part of the animal is basically edible, right? Testicle. If you want to, a lot of the Asian populations, they believe if you eat a certain part of the animal, it will affect that part of you. I'm not sure how true that is, but testicles are very, very rich in DHA. They're very fatty, so beef balls, very, very, very good. Never would I thought I'd eat beef balls. But they don't even need to be cooked. A lot of these foods like marrow, I'll eat raw. High liver is another interesting thing. So high meat has been used for thousands of years in many
And how do they
cultures.
taste? That's what people want to know. It's like, oh, they must taste like, like crap.
Remember to subscribe and share if this content's hitting home. Also, head over to Primal Edge Health. Tristan's doing a great job over there, and check out what he has to say. A lot of great information over there.
It's amazing. I'm a foodie. I'm a nerd. Like I'm so picky with my foods. Sometimes I don't even let my wife make me steaks. I had to train her how to make it the way that I like it, right? Because I'm so picky, I'm so particular, and I love good food. So yeah, I mean, bone marrow is amazing, especially on the side of a steak. So one of my favorite meals is a ribeye, bone-in ribeye with a lot of fat on it, as much fat as I can get on it, and I'll cook that on a cast iron skillet. Ryder just came on. I'll cook it on a cast iron skillet. I'll cook one side, get one side nice and browned, a little bit of a crust on one side. I'll flip it over, super rare, and I'll just barely touch the other side. So the middle's still cold. I'll pull it out of the fridge right before I cook it too. So I like it rare. I think the more rare the meat is, the easier it digests. Raw meat digests incredibly easy. So things like carpaccio, beef tartare, which is raw ground beef with raw egg yolk and salt. It's just simple meals like this.
Yeah.
You can put a little bit of lemon on it if you want.
So
These
for
are
some
just
of these, sorry to interrupt, but you're hitting on some awesome stuff and some specific questions. All of these kind of scary foods, which I'm now getting into and like, wow, feeling the magic of. People are going to want to know, where the hell do you get this stuff? And is it expensive? And I've told people the organs, the fat, all of it's super cheap, but where do you source your food? How would you go about sourcing your food if you lived like in Rancho Penasquitos or San Diego or Omaha, Nebraska, somewhere like that?
Yeah. So you're gonna want to find Rancho Penasquitos. It's funny. I haven't heard that word in so long.
I was back there this weekend, so it's in my mind.
Yeah, San Diego's so beautiful. I love North County, San Diego. I haven't been there in so long. I have to go visit sometime soon. Go to your local butcher, right? Like find a nice local butcher, ask the butcher for fat. They'll give you trimmings for dirt cheap. Suet is also pretty cheap. That's the fat around the kidney. Sheep suet, relatively cheap in most places. A lot of people in New York, they just go to the butcher and they get the sheep fat from the butcher. A lot of people do not want these cuts. A lot of people don't understand how nutrient dense they are. A lot of people think fat is bad. So they trim an incredible amount of fat off of these steaks when they're selling them. Like a ribeye roast, when it comes out of the animal, is going to have loads of fat on it. I usually recommend going for grass-fed if you can, grass-finished if you can. If you can't afford it, I'd still rather have you eat, Walmart meat than a bunch of quinoa. You're probably going to do a lot better on Walmart meat than a whole bunch of whole, healthy, heart healthy grains. But go to your local butcher, find a health food shop in the area, figure out who competes with Whole Foods in your area and go there. Don't go to Whole Foods. Amazon owns Whole Foods now. I'm not a big fan. So butchers. There's also some places online where you can find local locally produced food. So if you go on Craigslist and you look in your county and you search for beef producers, or you search for grass-fed beef in your local county, there are people who slaughter animals and who sell, a quarter of a cow, half a cow, and you can split that up with a group of people and do group buys, throw it in the freezer, and have a few hundred pounds of meat that'll last you several months or even longer if you've got enough freezer space. So there's a lot of ways you can do it economically. There's also, you can do things like Butcher Box. Butcher Box sells boxes of meat. Some of that comes from Australia. I'm not a big fan of the imported beef, especially in the US, not because of quality, but just because of broader geopolitical issues. I think you should try to get as local as possible if you can. But if all you've got is one butcher in your town and he's not able to get you the grass-fed beef, I know loads of people who've really done a lot for their health and reversed autoimmune conditions, not even being concerned with grass-fed beef. So even though ideologically I like to push and promote grass-fed beef, and I think it's a much better way of raising cattle, the grain-fed beef you're getting is still fed grass much of its life. It's just at the end that it gets fattened up on grain, and so you can still eat that. But yeah, figure out who competes with Whole Foods in your area and try to support them. That's what I'm all about. For all your groceries, screw Whole Foods.
Yeah, and the added benefit of going to a butcher, and if you can find like a halal butcher in your neighborhood, that's an ethnic butcher, basically. The advantage is the cost as well. You're getting the fresh, really good meat. They'll go out of their way, order meat for you. Our guy down the block just told us yesterday, just come in the morning. I throw away so much fat and so much suet. I'll give it to you for super cheap. So if you get around town,
people don't want it. People don't want the best stuff, which is the fat. Those animal fats, those are the most easily digestible fats, especially if they're not overcooked. And that's some of the healthiest food you can eat. I mean, if you're fueling on fat, you need to eat some fat. So if you're just trying to eat lean meat and do a carnivorous diet, you're not going to feel so good. So you got to get the fats up. Bone marrow can be kind of expensive because people really like it, but I love the taste of it. Grass-fed butter, another good one for getting the fats in. Egg yolks, if you got your own chickens. If you have a small backyard, you can have a bunch of chickens. So you can get your own eggs. You can get your own egg yolks. There's a lot of options out there. That's really cool that you got a butcher right down the street.
All right, you guys, that's going to do it for me today. Thanks so much for watching this little tidbit, watching this little piece of this interview. The full interview is back at my channel, and you can watch the whole thing. It's a few months old, so you're going to have to kind of search a little bit for it. But again, leave all your comments and questions down below. Thanks so much for watching these videos and for all your support. If you're looking to get a hold of me to become one of my skin health clients, there's a link for a consultation down in the description box. Also, there's a link for Skinessa, a link to my, what the heck is it called? My Instagram, Stuart Rob Stewart, and also all of my skin health offerings can be found at holistichealthactivation.com. Have a wonderful day, guys. I'll be back with more videos really soon. Stay safe out there.